Hello friends, welcome back. Recently, we received a fresh proposal from Paranspace Schemes Construction Limited or PSCL regarding the transfer of the balance of our maintenance deposits, which amount to 1.32 crores or 132 lakhs, the payment of which has been delayed due to financial constraints cited by them. This proposal was in response to the society's proposal, which was submitted to them earlier after obtaining approval, a unanimous approval from the general body, and that was about transferring the balance to a township maintenance corpus. Essentially, it can be summed up by saying that PSCL proposes to create a fund that will finance the township maintenance charges for the next 10 years or so out of the principal amount and the interest that accrues on it. Let us examine that in more detail. First of all, I would like to draw your attention to Section 70 of the Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act of 1960. According to this section, a society can only invest or deposit its funds in very restricted number of options. They can be securities which are specified in Section 20 of the Indian Trust Act 1982, or in shares, bonds, and debentures of other cooperative societies, or in banks in the form of fixed deposits or saving deposits, or with non-banking financial institution instruments. If you see these possibilities, you will realize that AHPL and PSCL are not appropriate places to keep your funds. In fact, they will be violating Section 70, and such violations are punishable under Section 146 and 147 of the Act. The next thing to consider is that the Maharashtra government's Urban Development Department notification for integrated township projects dated 8th March 2019, according to clause 10.3, the project proponent is allowed to collect periodic contributions to recover maintenance costs of infrastructure of such townships or raise a corpus fund. We will be using this provision in order to create the fund which will finance the township maintenance charges. We will go into the details shortly. The sheet that you see on the screen now shows the PSCL proposal in brief. If you see the top left hand corner, the calculation is made on the basis of a carpet area of 1,45,978 square feet. The interest rate shown is 8.5% per annum. The TMC rate is at the rate of 1 rupee per square foot of carpet area per month plus 18% GST. So in effect it is 1 rupee 18 paisa per square foot per month. If you do the arithmetic, you will find that the annual TMC charges amount to 20,67,048 rupees and 48 paisa. Let us now look at the columns and rows. The first column shows the year. It shows 9 years. Column B is the period. It starts from the financial year beginning 1st of April 2023 and runs all the way up to 31st March 2032. Column C shows the value of the deposit that remains. So at the beginning of 2023, the value is 1 crore 32 lakhs. The interest that will accrue on this will be 11.22 lakhs. Thus, the total of the deposit and interest for that year comes to 1 crore 43 lakhs and 22,000. Now the TMC including GST, which we said earlier, amounts to 20 lakhs 67,048 rupees and 48 paisa. So after deducting this amount from the total, what is left is 1.22 crores. This is carried forward to the next financial year, which is shown here in this red box in the second year, 2024 and 25. This is the number that has been carried forward from here. So this calculation continues, and you will find that the end of the 9th year, that means on 31st of March 2032, the society will owe PSCL 6,94,449 rupees. This proposal sounds very simple and straightforward and is a good attempt to sort out the situation in order to overcome some accounting difficulties which PSCL has explained to us verbally. But there is one major anomaly, and let us see what that is and how it can be overcome. First of all, this proposal will be valid only and only if all the 266 flats have the same area and therefore they are billed an equal amount of TMC. The second point is that area wise there are in fact as many as 20 different types of flats. The third point to note is that the area ranges all the way from 426 square feet to 836 square feet. So there is a wide disparity in the TMC which is paid by each individual flat owner. The fourth point is that the annual TMC for these types of flat ranges from 6,032 rupees all the way up to 11,838 rupees. So there's a wide variation which has to be accounted and accommodated. Next, the deposit is equal for everyone. Every single member of these 266 flats has contributed 49,624 rupees. That is how this number of 1.32 crore has come about. Now, if we dwell on this idea, we'll realize that the deposit will exhaust at a different rate for each type of flat. Because even though the outgoing for a 426 square foot flat is only 6,032 rupees, that of the 836 square feet flat is more than 11,000. So this will be draining the 49,624 at a different rate for each flat. So the zero balance date will vary between 5 years to 13 years depending on the type of flat. We will now see the flat-wise calculation for TMC. In the first column, you will find that there are 20 different types of flats. And the carpet area is shown in the next column. It starts with 426 square feet all the way up to 836 square feet. This column shows the number of flats of each type. They all add up to 266. You will notice that what is shown or highlighted in yellow is flat number B9. This flat is occupied by the resident manager and therefore that is not included in the calculation because no deposit has been paid to the society on account of this flat. The fourth column is the annual TMC charge at the rate of 1 rupee 18 paisa per square foot of carpet area. This is the annual charge. So you can see the variation from the extreme end of 6,032 going all the way up to 11,838. If we take the total carpet area of each type of flat and add it up, that gives us 1,45,978 square feet. This is the total amount on which the bill is presented to the society. In the next column, we will see how much is the TMC collection according to each type of flat. If we add all this up, this comes to 20,67,048 rupees and 48 paisa, which is exactly the same amount which has been quoted by PSCL proposal. So there is no difference as far as that goes. As mentioned earlier, flat number B009 is occupied by the RM and is not included in the calculation, neither for the area nor for the TMC. We also saw how we came to 266 members, and please remember this number and the total TMC that is payable. These are important numbers. We will now explore the calculations which will go into our proposal. The first example that I'm taking is that of a 426 square foot flat, and remember there are 9 of these and the flat numbers are shown in the graphic. The carpet area is 426 square feet, interest rate 8.5% per annum, TMC rate is including GST 1 rupee 18 paisa, and the annual TMC amount comes to 6,032 rupees and 16 paisa. If we use the same basis of calculation which the PSCL proposal states, we will find that on a deposit of 49,624 rupees, which earns an interest of 4,218 rupees and 5 paisa, giving a total of 53,842 rupees 11 paisa. And if we deduct the TMC, what remains as balance is 47,809 rupees 95 paisa. This gets carried forward to the next year, 2024-25. And so it goes on till it reaches 31st of March 2036, the 13th year completed. At that point of time, the balance becomes minus 638 rupees and 42 paisa. In other words, the owner of a flat having an area of 426 square feet flat carpet area will be short of 638 rupees by the end of 2036. 13 years. Next example, we'll see what happens for a bigger flat. The second example which I have taken is that of a 833 square feet carpet area, and there are a total of 36 such flats. Once again, the numbers remain the same for interest and the TMC rate, and the annual TMC for such a flat is 11,795 rupees and 28 paisa. Let us see how this calculation works out. In this table also the columns remain the same, and you will discover that though the deposit amount is the same, the TMC deduction every year is much more, and therefore the balance that is carried forward to the next year is much smaller, and therefore this money will hardly last 5 years. At the end of 5 years, a person who is the owner of a flat having an area of 833 square feet carpet area will be left with just 161 rupees and 11 paisa balance out of the total deposit. So in just 5 years, the deposit is over. Naturally, as I mentioned earlier, we cannot apply the principle which has gone into constructing the table presented by PSCL, and suitable arrangements will have to be made. And that is what we will do in the next part of this presentation. Is there a solution to overcome this anomaly? Indeed, there is. First, let us state what the problem is. The problem is that every individual flat owner has paid an equal amount of deposit, which we saw is nearly 50,000 rupees. But there are 20 different rates of TMCs for the types of flats. And if we were to deduct the entire TMC for each flat from the deposit and the interest, we found that there will be different periods when the balance will go zero. This will add to very difficult billing. Therefore, we can now look for a solution. The easiest solution is to have equal deduction every year, say rupees 6,000. And you'll soon understand why I chose this particular number. The second thing is that whatever is the deficit or the difference which is to be paid between 6,000 and the actual TMC for that flat will have to be paid every year by the member. And the third thing is that if we follow this simple formula, the zero balance period will be the same for everyone. It will be at the end of a particular period of time, which is around 14 years, that everyone's balance will come to a near zero. And let us see how. Let us now see the revised version of the chart for a 1 BHK 426 square foot flat. The first 6 columns are the same, which is the year, the financial year period, the deposit of an individual, which is just a little less than 50,000 rupees, the interest which will accrue on that 49,624 rupees, which amounts to 4,218. So that in the first year, the total balance which is available is 53,842 rupees. The TMC which is due from this particular member as per the calculation shown earlier is 6032. Now instead of deducting this entire amount shown in column G from the total balance available with the member which is shown in column F, we do not do that. Instead, what we do is we deduct a fixed amount from the corpus. And in this case, the fixed amount is 6000 rupees. So that the contribution of this particular member will be 32 rupees and 16 paisa for every year. If we continue down the line, we will now notice that the total balance remaining at the end of 15 financial years, that means on 31st March 2038, will be as shown in the last bottom right hand corner, which is a negative 684 rupees. That means at the end of 15 years, the member will have to pay 684 rupees so that he pays for the last year in this table. I'll show you the example for 833 square foot flat so that this becomes clear. This shows the revised version for the 2 BHK flat measuring 833 square feet. The first 6 columns are exactly the same. We already know the content. And as we said earlier, column H shows a fixed deduction of 6000 rupees, which is the same as that for the example shown earlier for the 1 BHK 426 square foot flat. Now what you will find that the difference between column G and column H amounts to the annual contribution of the member, which in this case is much higher. The one with the 426 square feet ended up paying a little over 32 rupees for that year. Over here, because the TMC dues are higher, but the corpus's contribution is the same as it was for the earlier example, the net contribution will be 5,795 rupees and 28 paisa. If we go down the line, we will notice that it is the same period of 15 years, or of course, on 31st of March 2038, the dues of this member will be 5,583. Having built on the two examples shown, you can now understand what is shown in this chart. In the first column, we have the 20 different types of flats. The second column shows the areas of each type of flat. The third column shows the total number of flats in each type. The fourth column is the TMC that is applicable to each type of flat. The fifth column is, as we suggested earlier, the total contribution that will come towards the TMC charges to be paid to PSCL from the corpus, and they will be fixed for every type of flat. Every flat owner contributes equally from the corpus, and the balance of TMC is paid annually. So the TMC to be collected from a 1 BHK flat of 426 square foot would be just 32 rupees. Whereas for a flat which was 836 square feet, the TMC comes to 11,838 rupees. But the contribution from the corpus is still the same, which is 6,000. It's common to all. And the balance that remains to be paid is 5,838. And the rest will be funded by the corpus. So now if we see the last two columns, they are a summation of the total TMC collected annually, which comes to 4,71,048 rupees. And the last column is the corpus funding the TMC, which comes to 15,96,000 rupees. So the total TMC that is received by the Township Management Agency is 20,67,048 rupees. Exactly the same number which has been shown in the PSC estimate. I'm sure you must be quite clear. To summarize, it is equal contribution by each member because every member's deposit is equal. The difference is paid in terms of an annual contribution. I will now provide a summary. We first saw the limitations of Section 70 of the Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act, which means we must find a solution within the ambit of law so that we don't violate Section 70. The next thing we saw is that the Urban Development Department Integrated Township Notification allows the collection of periodic as well as corpus to be created for paying maintenance charges towards the infrastructure of the integrated township. Then we examined the PSCL proposal and found out what is the anomaly. The problem with that PSCL proposal is that for different sizes of flats, the period to zero deposit is different. So we did a revised calculation for finding out how should we be charging TMC to the members. There has to be an equal payout for every flat owner from the corpus, which we said was 6,000 rupees. Each individual flat owner will then pay the balance after deducting the contribution from the corpus, which is 6,000 rupees. The interest-free non-refundable deposit will be recovered in 14 years. So friends, that brings me to the end of this video. I trust you will just check out the calculations, and I'll be distributing the Excel sheets for you to examine individually, and please forward me your comments. Thank you for your attention, and I'm sure we'll be able to find an excellent solution to a problem or an issue that has been pending for the past 2 years. Thank you once again, and bye-bye.